Welcome to JazzTime. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com. Today I'll be reviewing the A Lange Sohne Odysseus in titanium, reference 363.117 with a ice blue dial. Kind of looks great to me though. Watch. And I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the Odysseus. Then I'll tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other Odysseus's. And then I'll tell you about the case, bezel, dial, bracelet, movement, and finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history. This watch was created in 2019. The end. Yes, it's a pretty short history. It just was released 6 years ago. It's 2025 now, and it is Lange Sohne's first foray into the luxury sports watch. You might be wondering, what? They've been around this long and they've never made a sports watch? Yes, that's correct. They have not. So this is the first one, the Odysseus. And you would think that for a brand of this size they would, but they haven't, and they have seen their competitors in Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet make a wild amount of money, insane amount of money, and creating sports watches because that's basically what everybody wants. No one wants these old man dress watches anymore, and it doesn't do that well. And so A Lange Sohne, which is a great watchmaker, decided, you know what, it's time for us to cash in and make some watches that people actually want to wear or actually care about, instead of all of our watches being sold at 50% off because nobody wants these old man watches. Even though they're beautiful, even though they're wonderful, they don't do very well. Even though A Lange Sohne is a great brand, but people simply want sports watches, just like people want like sneakers. Not everyone, the shoe you have is a sneaker, but almost every man has a pair of sneakers. And for a brand of this prestige, level of prestige, A Lange Sohne should, and they do, produce a luxury sports watch, which the A Lange Sohne is owned. I think it's owned by who owns A Lange Sohne? I forgot. Owned by. They were bought out. Oh yes, they were bought out by the Richemont Group. So they're a subsidiary of the Richemont Group. The Richemont Group owns like a ton of stuff, and they own now A Lange Sohne. And so as a group that owns a lot of luxury watches and brands, they understand that selling your items just as important as staying true to your heritage. And why would it not be staying true to your heritage to produce a watch that people actually want to wear? And so there you have it. That's Odysseus. I'm trying to lengthen out the history of this Odysseus because it's very short. Okay, now where does it stand in the lineup? Well, there's not very much to stand in this lineup. There's only 4 different ones. They have it in the titanium that you see here. This is titanium, so it's super duper light. They have a white gold on a black bracelet. They have a rose gold that they call it honey gold, and then they have just a regular steel version. Interestingly, the one that you're looking at here is titanium, and it's limited to 250 pieces, which has made the price of this skyrocket into the in the mid hundreds, a little bit less than that actually. But the retail price is only like, I don't know, 50 something. So it's this is actually the best of the bunch. So we're going to talk about it, all right? You know, if you want the steel one, it's a bit cheaper, and I'm going to go out there and tell you right now on this channel that the A Lange Sohne Odysseus is going to be the next hottest thing. So I would, if I were you and you're watching this and you got to jump on it, buy one now. For example, buy the steel one, because the steel one is still trading kind of around retail, and it is, I bet, in the not so long distant future, it's going to be like the Royal Oak, or it's going to be like the Nautilus, because A Lange Sohne is a massive brand. Well, it's a massive name. It's not a massive brand. They only make 3,000 watches a year, or 3,000 or 4,000 a year, but it's a massive name, and it's a lot of prestige. It's right up there with Patek. Not quite Patek, okay, but it's up there. You know, it's like a second to Patek. It's really nice. Okay, so so that's where this watch stands in the lineup. It's limited. There's 4 variations of it, and they'll probably make some more, but yeah, it's the best one so far. Okay, let's start talking about the watch itself. And let's start with the case. find me. The case is 40.5 millimeters, called 40 millimeters, a very nice size, almost for every man. You'll see when I try it on. And the thickness is 11.1 millimeters. None of this is this is all pretty standard stuff. 40 millimeter, 11 millimeter thickness. It has a time, date, and even has a day. So day and date actually. So yeah, okay. The case. What is interesting about the case, and what can we say about it? Okay, let's look at it a little bit closely. And you'll notice that it's an integrated bracelet. That means the case connects into the bracelet, and it does not just, for example, like a leather strap, just it looks like you put a strap on the watch. Here you can see the lines, the beveled edge of the case extend down the edge of the bracelet, kind of like a Royal Oak or Nautilus. So this is their version of that, or like a Vacheron. Or even actually, come to think of it, Rolex has made their own Land Dweller, which is a integrated bracelet. So every brand is basically having a luxury sports watch that is integrated bracelet now. Every major brand that is. Right? A Lange Sohne, Vacheron, AP, Patek, even Rolex. So yeah. So, and those are probably Richard Mille, I guess you could say also. Those are the best brands in the world. Okay, anyways, the case, it's a very nice one, and you'll notice on the case here, these pushers here, you kind of can't even see them there. So they're integrated so nicely, but if you press them, one of them here changes the date, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Sunday. It only shows you the first two letters. At first, actually, I thought it was written in German or something. When it says like FR, I was like, FR, does that mean something in German? Because we're so used to seeing three letters. But I guess you only need two letters, so they did it in two. Not a bad idea. Okay, and then on the right-hand side, you press this other button down here, then it'll change the date, 1 to 31. Okay, so you can quick set to where you're going to set the watch quite easily. All right, that's the case and a nice dome bezel, with a high polished dome bezel. Let's talk about the dial here. Now, interestingly, it looks totally gray to me, this dial, but A Lange Sohne calls this ice blue. I guess the color of ice blue, normally it's like a light blue, but this must be a very dirty water or something, because they're calling this ice blue. Maybe this is what the blue looks like in Germany. Who knows? But here, ice does not look this color. All right, anyways, but it still is a very nice looking car, and it matches the titanium very well. And did I mention, by the way, this watch is fully made of titanium, so it's a very out there watch for A Lange Sohne, because first of all, they don't do any watches in titanium, not that I'm aware of. They do almost all their, I think this is the only watch in titanium. They do everything in precious metal because they primarily do dress watches. Not primarily, they only do dress watches. The only watch they do outside that is not a dress watch is the Odysseus that you're looking at right here. And so for them to do it in titanium alloy materials, which is lighter and stronger and more difficult to work with, it's quite it's quite nice. Okay, that is the case. And I tell you a little bit about the dial. The dial, you can see, start talking about the dial, as he said, is ice blue. It has this typical like three-dimensional aspect of the dial that Lange & Söhne is famous for, which is you have the outer ring, this white outer ring, and then you have the inner ring, which is the hour markers, and then you have luminescent on those hour markers, so it's like a step. And then there's a further step that kind of looks sandblasted in the very center. It's called the center disc. And on top of that, you have another center disc that's placed asymmetrically at the bottom of this 6 o'clock position display in the seconds. And then you have another disc inside that second counter, which is again sandblasted to match the center disc of the hour markers. Yeah, pretty cool. I think it's pretty nice. And it's simplistic, but it's complicated, and it's symmetrical. It's well thought out, and that is typical Lange. They do a great job of that. German engineering is the only high-end watch that is made in Germany, although the brand that I told you about earlier, A Lange Sohne, is the only one that is not made in Switzerland. And the Germans do a very good job, actually. I can't say it's my favorite watch, but I like it. I definitely like it a lot. And which brings me to the next point to talk about, which is the movement, which is probably, I'm going to say, where A Lange Sohne really stands out. They're number one. Now let's take a look at the movement. So the movement is what powers all this, and Lange and Söhne say, I don't know if this is true, but they say that they make one watch and they make one movement per watch, whereas, for example, Patek uses the same movement in all of them. If they have a time and date, they use it in like everything that has a time and date. If it's a world time, they use it in all the world times. A Lange and Söhne is saying that they make a movement specifically for the watch. Whether it's true or not, I'm not sure, but anyways, it's probably very similar, even if it's not true. But yeah, what is special about the movement? Well, it's a little bit hard to see in the video, but you can see, first of all, they use very cool looking screws, these really deep blue screws, that's special, and these jewels in this very vibrant purple. And then, they, of course, they have a very nice finish, this Coteau de Genève swirls and lines. But what really stands out is, look, check out the balance wheel, and this is actually called the cock. So check out my cock. It has this beautiful beautiful cock. Check out my beautiful cock right here. It's hand engraved, you know, and it's done really well. So yeah, you heard it here first. Lange and Söhne has the best cock ever. Yep, that's right. All right, there you go. So it has a very beautiful movement, and the rotor is also done very, very, very nicely. It's a cutout rotor and just done exquisitely. Looks fantastic. All right, so that's it for the movement. Let's look at the bracelet. Now the bracelet is integrated, as I said, the lines of the bracelet, they integrate it down. They do a beveled edge that goes down the side, and also they do the interlinks that also have a very beautiful finish that has high polish on the edges and sandblast in the center, such that bracelet looks really like one. And let me show you the buckle. Here's probably the most interesting. I've never seen this before, but you can actually adjust the buckle with a micro adjusting. And it's so German. You actually press this A Lange Sohne circular button, and it allows the buckle to be lengthened or shortened without any tools. Very practical, very German, and it's just a great little design that A Lange Sohne came up with. All right, so that's it. That brings us to the end of this. Let's try this watch on. And what are my thoughts? Well, Odysseus is a newcomer to the luxury sports watch, although Lange Sohne is a long-time watchmaker and well-known brand. It's one of the top brands, as I said, right up there with Patek. They make a very, very limited quantity, as I said, like 3,500 as opposed to like 60,000, 30,000 Pateks. So there's much less of them, a lot less people know about it, but the quality is still right up there with Patek. In some ways, the movement might even be better. They just do a fantastic job, and so it's very niche, yes, but I believe that the Odysseus is going to be the next biggest hit, because every brand is now trying to jump on this luxury sports watch bandwagon, including Rolex, and so Lange is going to do great on it, and the watch market itself is increasing every year. It's getting bigger, more people are buying watches, and so I believe over time the Odysseus is going to do really well. So you should get yours now before the price goes up and goes crazy like the Royal Oak or the Nautilus. 10 years ago, for example, the Nautilus, you could just literally walk into the Patek store and buy it. And same thing with Royal Oak. That day has changed. So Odysseus, I don't think you can buy it straight away like that. You have to buy a few things, but it's still attainable. And not only that, if you can't attain it at the Lange store, you can always go to jazztime.com and buy it at the lowest price anywhere online. So thanks.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can